to do. She's going to do it in her own way. You know she will. You know she will. What a wonderful time this has been, huh? You enjoy yourself? You know, it's really a special thing to celebrate anything for 46 years. You know what I mean? Anything for 46 years. But to really still enjoy each other, love each other, love the ups and the downs and all of the ups, and to know that you have impacted the world is a wonderful, wonderful, blessed thing. Mother, we thank you for your vision and for your time and for your love and your birthday cards and your spanks on the hands and all the things that we've gotten. And for that, we praise the Lord and thank for you. But every team needs a leader, and we have you. Would you stand up and let's thank Sister Willis.
Same old Sister Well. I told her to sit down. She said, no, I'm just sitting. I'm going to stand. We got to do what she said.
Sit. Thank you very much. And of course, my young people are always coming up saying, which one of us were the best? And Ayana, you know I always work through it on. I said, all of you were special in your own way. And because I'm working with 2000, I moved down from there because they are the ones that are struggling through with their education right now. And we pray for them that they remain strong and faithful. The 90s, you're special because you told me that you love one another. And you do. Didn't they show that up here? And you don't know some of the special things they've done for one another. And you have to let me, that's one special minute to complete what Reggie was saying. We almost lost him, didn't we? But the Lord knew that we needed to keep him. But you know who passed the word? The 90s. They sent the word all around to say, we need to help. We need to do something. And then I looked at the 90s, and they are my professional people. People, you have to get to know them. We got one young man, I tell him all the time how proud I am of him. He walks in the halls of Congress. And those of us who are from New York, that he worked in the office of Charles Rangel for how many years? William, stand up. You got to do it. Come on. Come in. Rosalind is a school teacher. Somebody else is assistant principal. Jonelle is a firefighter. Amir is a firefighter. These are all people who said they couldn't sing, but they loved one another. And decided they wanted to be somebody special beyond just singing. And they did. Now, 80s, well, we don't have to really talk about you because... Well, do it anyway. It was over 200 of you. Yeah. And when we went anywhere, we had to have 2 buses or whatever to travel. And you loved to sing. And you thought sometimes you were getting over on us. But we
man, she may be sleeping, but she knows what's going on. Right? And my beginners, you gave us the wisdom and the strength just to start it. And I got to tell you about a little girl, and I'll be finished, and keep thanking you and all of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all you've done with the years to just build me up. During the time that I felt like, I know so many people, I felt like Job, you know, the phrase that says, and as they were yet speaking. So the Lord touched, he touched my knee, then he touched my leg, then he touched my foot, then he touched, as Danielle said, we're cancer survivors, then he touched the lungs, but you know what? He never touched my hands. All right. And he didn't touch my voice because Paul and the rest of you, I prayed, Lord, send us some men. We didn't have any male counselors to travel. And all at once the Lord sent us Paul and Brandon and Jason and Ray Spears and Thomas. All of that at one time. Like, we looked around and we had men. Now, they did give us a lot of fun because they still didn't know how to clue. But it was a funny thing that we dealt with. And we love all of you. So I hope to continue. I thank you, and I want you to remember, walk up, put your hands on those that you know are struggling. Yeah. And what I feel so good about, this last two things, is that out of this group, there are about 10 to 15 husbands and wives that are here celebrating with us. Either their wife was an Easternnaire or the husband was an Easternnaire. So I'm going to tell you what the Lord did. Somebody just gave me, what was a gift certificate for IHOP. Yeah. Guess what the Lord did? No, like yesterday, before you gave the certificate, I walked up to a few of my husbands and wives and said, you're going to IHOP for a late dinner tonight. And then you turn around and give me a certificate for IHOP. That's the Lord, isn't it? Yeah. And that's happened for 46 years. Now, they tell a funny story about my teeth, and every now and then I have to make sure they're there. And I did, Danielle, lose them 3 times. And but the funniest one, and I think Tricia was in the group then, we were directing, and I was in Newark, and I was on the floor. And you know when you're directing, you gotta look up. And those were the years I was wearing a wig. It was going off. And I could feel myself losing my wig. And what my girls did, they had bobby pins in their hands. And while I was still directing, and they're singing, they handed me bobby pins to put my wig back on. A straight face. Never laughed at me, but we laughed with one another. Yeah. But I can promise you I'm going to keep my teeth in all night long. So many of you, counselors, you are my wind beneath my wings. Yeah. I couldn't have continued all these years. From Pearl, just love you to death. And you've just come in and inspired us. And so I can't call the names of all of you. And you know who you are, and it's so many of you. Yeah. We're blessed. I thank you. I thank you at Harlem for those who have been my sisters and cared for me. And you've been those of you who traveled on Accessoride, you know what a PCA is, don't you? Well, I've got my own private PCAs. Yvette's a PCA. Danielle is a PCA. One of my young adults who's not a counselor, Regina, that travels with us when we need her. She's a PCA. That means you're keeping me up. And then there's a little girl, Tanya. Where's your little one? Would you hold her up a minute? Tanya Simpson? Yeah. Everybody look at her. Hold her up. I got to tell you what she said. And then I'll finish. Because I guess I got to.
They give me the sign, so we got to be like, okay. I didn't want to tap you on the shoulder.
Now, the last thing I want to say, you know, we talk about the future of Easternnaires, and you know what it means, and I know what it means to do that work. So my child walked up to me in January in Brooklyn, and she said, Sister Wells, would you wait for me? Oh, Lord. You know what that means, don't you? Now, how old are you, baby? She's 8. You can't get in the group until you're 13. So that means I got to give her 5 more years. And I'm going to give you 5 more years. Each one of you will. Portia. Where are you, Portia? Stand up, babe. Portia. Portia is a director and is an Easternnaire, but a director. And her mother said to me, Pam, where are you? How many years ago? When she was in junior high. You said, Sister Wells, you can't retire until Portia comes in the group. Portia is now a college student. Yes. So it's been a wonderful run. It really has. And thank you, all of you. Those of you.
It's been wonderful, and we got to go. And it's going to pay some more money. So.
Hello, I'm Sylvia Rose. There is a phrase that I have coined for occasions such as this, and it is a sad delight. Sad in that we must honor and acknowledge the loss, the grief that we have, having lost someone that we have cherished and loved and who has meant so much to so many. The dimming of a light that shone so brightly on so many of us. But a delight, and that it's with great joy that we pay homage to one so fittingly honored in the hearts, the minds, and the spirit of so many. When I think of Sister Dorothy Wells, I'm reminded of a time many, many years ago when I was a freshman at Southwestern, and I came home, was having dinner with my father, and he asked me what was I studying in college, what did I plan to do? And I said, well, I'm studying music and I want to be a choral director. And immediately he said, are you going to direct like Dorothy Wells? And I said, well, I don't think so. And he just sort of shook his head because Dorothy Wells was the standard. And if I wasn't going to be a director like Dorothy Wells, he didn't quite understand why I was even bothering with it. Well, I never forgot that. for that said so many things to me. Dorothy Wells was a pioneer. She had set and established a way. She had walked where so few women had been welcomed or embraced. And yet, she did it well, without fanfare and with distinction. And as is the case with so many pioneers, it is typically concluded that what you did impacts so much more than what you did, and therefore remembered so far beyond how long you've lived. I wrote a poem in honor of my sister, Dr. Helen Curtis's 80th birthday, and I'd like to include it in this homage to Dorothy Wells at this time. It is entitled An Ode to an Old Black Woman. How do you honor an old black woman who has certainly paid her dues? How do you discern the path she's walked? By the condition of her shoes? Certainly they've been bruised and torn by the unpaved roads she's trod, walking on gravel in mud and sand, but usually in the footsteps of God. Steps that took her to the back of buses, sitting under colored-only signs, having to wait for her time to vote as she stood at the back of the line. Can you imagine having to cross a bridge that you also got to build? What you think it's been like for her climbing up hill after hill? Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth had to fight for everything they got. Miss Truth asked the question, "Ain't I a woman?" 'Cause they were treating her like she was not. Shirley Chisholm held her court. Being unbossed and unbought was her claim. The first black woman to be in Congress, and when she left, everybody knew her name. When Rosa Parks was hauled off to jail 'cause she wouldn't give up her seat, she took a stand as she sat down 'cause she had been walking on tired feet. Feet that all black women know, that swell up in the heat of the day. Ankles and back that ache from the load that we done carried all the way. So how do you greet an old black woman that seems to have made it on her own, debt-free and living good? Well, you ask, can I get a loan? Lend me some courage to speak truth to power, that I won't fear retribution. Let me borrow your wisdom and grace and your steely constitution. Oh, I know that you've taken your share of hard knocks, and you've dodged many a stone. But even bad looks good on you, a look that I'd like to clone. Go on, old black woman, and stand your ground, even when you're singing the blues. For no matter the width or size of your feet, it's hard to fill your shoes. Dorothy Carpenter Wells leaves a path well worn by her travels, on which other women and men will walk. And those shoes will remain unfilled. They will stand as monuments for many to admire, as testimonials that will certainly inspire. And even as they are far, far too big for others who might aspire or desire to walk in her way. I honor her legacy, her life, her light, and the abundance and the broadness of her love that she shared and included so many of us during her stay on this earth among us.